Yes guys, welcome back to another Fantasy Football Fix YouTube video. My name is FPL Nacho, and in this video I'm going to be revealing my Game Week 7 team and transfer plans. I'm also going to show you a Game Week 7 wildcard draft that I think we all really need to consider, and also the predicted points going into this weekend. So as always, make sure you do hit that like button and smash that subscribe button for the channel. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as I mentioned, I really wanted to bring together a wildcard draft ahead of this weekend to show you exactly what direction I would go in if you were one of those FPL managers. Now, I actually do think it is really helpful to build a wildcard draft regardless if you're planning on doing it or not, because it gives you a bit of an indication on which players are popular and which players you're planning on having long term. So for example, you might be a manager that is looking to wildcard in game week 9. So all of your transfers right now are going to be very short-term moves. Whereas if you're planning on postponing your wildcard long-term, you want to be looking at those players that are actually going to be great investments for the future. And that's why I like building the wildcard draft, because we are looking at players that are great for the long term. So in goal, I have gone for the rotation of Areola and Turner. Now, it's worth mentioning, if budget was not an option, I really do like the Leno-Areola rotation because the fixtures are ridiculous. However, Areola and Turner's rotation is very good as well. I would argue we're investing into a bit of a weaker defence in Nottingham Forest and a bit more of a rotation risk in Turner, as we know they have signed a fantastic backup. And I do think there will be a period in this season where Turner is taken out of the team. But until we actually see that, I think the Areola-Turner rotation is perfectly fine. And for this game week in particular, Areola at home against Sheffield United, I feel like that's a clean sheet, but I might be cursing it. Now, moving into the defence, I think there are a lot of players here that are kind of just locked into a lot of people's teams. Kabore at 4 million. I think if you're wildcarding in game week 7, it's almost impossible to ignore him with the double game week. Are we expecting much from Luton? Probably not. But if you have a double game week player, you simply have to play him regardless of what team they play for. Matty Cash as well. Talk about long-term players. This is one of the best going. The fixtures are amazing long-term. Cash is an unbelievable goal threat in this system. And right now, we haven't seen any rotation for Matty Cash. So until we actually see that happen, I'm not worried about it for Cash. And it's also worth noting Leon Bailey's injury as well. Could we see Cash played as a right winger at times? Potentially. So for me, Cash is an amazing long-term option for our teams. Now, looking at the other defenders that I've selected, I've gone for the Newcastle double defence. I still think there is brilliant value there. Yes, I haven't got Trippier in this team. Again, if money was no issue, I definitely would have brought in Trippier. But as you can see on your screens, I've got Son, I've got Salah, I've got Haaland. Simply cannot fit Trippier into this team. But I think the Shah-Botman combination is a really good double up. Now, it's worth noting, Botman is a slight injury risk going into this weekend, so just monitor the press conferences. But I think long-term, he is just a brilliant value pick in that defence. And last of the defenders is going to be Udogie. Now, again, this is more of a long-term view because the next two don't look good for him. Well, the next one at home against Liverpool. After that, the fixtures are really good for Spurs. And I think he's going to be one of those players that is such a high upside player that offers both attacking potential and hopefully some clean sheet potential from time to time. So I really do like Udogie. Now, moving into the midfield, this is where it gets exciting, as we know. If you're wildcarding in game week 7, you cannot go without Mo Salah. You know you're going to want him for game week 9. It would be a very brave manager to go without him because they have Everton at home, Forest at home, Luton away. Almost impossible to ignore those players and those fixtures. So Salah is in as a game week 7 wildcard pick. Of course, we have to make some budget cuts here. So Son is going to be the other premium at 9.2 million. Again, just cannot ignore it right now because of the price point that he's at. Playing as a forward, Liverpool at home I think isn't a bad fixture. And then they got Luton away in game week 8. That is the real one that everybody is going to be doubling down on. But again, we can't go for the two 9 million midfielders. So I've gone down to Maddison. I think if he is confirmed fit for this weekend, he is just a player that you set and forget into your teams in this Spurs attacking system. He looks great. And then we've gone for two more mid-price options. Now, there's no Mbeumo. I actually think it's a time to maybe look outside of Mbeumo. Gone for Bowen. Game week 7 is unbelievable at home against Sheffield United. And I actually think Bowen is a really tasty differential for the next few game weeks if you want to go down that route. And then we got Diaby, another example of a really long-term player to hold for your wildcard drafts. And last up, the forwards. Now, Haaland is obviously in the team. That is just a lock, absolutely. And I've gone for Archer as the 4.5 million. But the big one that I have gone for in this team is Darwin Núñez. Now, for some managers, this is going to be too risky for them to go down the route. And I get it. That is understandable. However, I really do like Darwin Núñez. And with the Liverpool fixtures long term, if he does remain in that team, even if he plays 70 minutes, I honestly think he is an unbelievable differential for your teams. He has the best XG per 90 of any forward. He's beaten Haaland. And if you can take that risk, Darwin Núñez, I think, is going to be worth it. If you want to go safe, go for Alvarez, knowing that maybe later down the line, you'll want to move away from him. But let me know your thoughts on this wildcard draft in the comments section. Right, let's move into my Game Week 7 team reveal. Okay, so as you can see, I have got one free transfer, 0.2 million in the bank. So I have a few issues in this team, which we are going to address, but I am very, very conscious that the press conferences may dictate the direction that I take my team. And at the time of recording, we don't actually have any information right now from Arteta or Ange. So look at the goalkeeper first and foremost. I have Pickford at home against Luton. I simply cannot make a goalkeeper transfer when a goalie has the best fixture on paper. I've had a disaster with goalkeepers so far this season. With clean sheets, I have had 0. I'm hoping Pickford can finally deliver the goods. Now, moving into defence, I have had Kabore since pre-season. This is the time to play him up. Hopefully, he can step up and get at least an assist. That would be amazing because I'm not expecting a Luton clean sheet in either fixture. But if you have Kabore, you simply have to start him. And I bought Trippier ahead of game week 6. He delivered with that 18-pointer. I'm not expecting the same returns this week, but Burnley at home, it's a decent fixture. But I think Burnley will put up a bit more competition than that of Sheffield United. Trippier was rested midweek as well, which is great news. So I'm expecting his game time to be very, very good. And last up, Ruben Diaz, a player that I am eyeing up as a bit of a cash cow in this team if we were to get some bad news regarding Bukayo Saka. But I will come on to that when we get into the midfielders. But as a back three, I think that is pretty decent going into this weekend. Now, moving into the midfielders, we got issues in this team. Now, Man United double up are the initial problem with Fernandes and Rashford because they really aren't offering the value that I was expecting at their price points. But when we have both Saka and Maddison flagged in the game with no certainty about their game time for this weekend, Man United midfield just has to stick this weekend. And I really do pray that while other managers are moving away from them, they become a bit of a differential in themselves. And I'm just hoping Man United find a little bit of form because if they do, for game week 7 and 8 at home, they could offer some serious value. But I'm just praying that we catch the right moment with them. So the situation right now regarding Saka and Maddison, we have no clarity. Hopefully with Saka's situation, Arteta does update us because he hasn't trained all week and he didn't feature midweek. Obviously, we didn't know about Maddison because Tottenham weren't in the cup. So right now with Saka, my thought process is this. If we get no news regarding him, I think I'm just going to take the risk and start in him, hope for the best. And the same is going to apply for Maddison as well. The reason why I'm a bit more inclined to sell Saka rather than Maddison is that Saka has Man City in game week 8 and Chelsea away in game week 9. I feel a bit more tempted to move away from Saka if I felt like he wasn't going to start. Whereas Maddison, he has Luton away in game week 8 and a decent game week 9 fixture as well. So I feel like if I sell Maddison, I'd regret it a bit more, knowing that I'm seeing that Luton fixture, which he probably will be available for in game week 8. So I am tempted to move away from Saka, and if I do, it would be part of a -4 strategy, bringing in Son and downgrading Ruben Diaz to Matty Cash. But again, that is going to be completely dictated on the press conferences. And Mbeumo away against Nottingham Forest is a really good fixture. But what I will say is I'm a little bit worried about Brentford. With the injuries to Henry, the absence of Ivan Toney, the injury to Sade, I think they're in a little bit of trouble right now. And I think their squad's going to get really tested right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few bad results from Brentford in the long term. Now, moving into the forwards, no problems here whatsoever. Yes, Alvarez was a disappointment, but he did come off early because of game state and Rodri's red card. I'm not sweating about that too much. And Haaland, of course, in the team with the captaincy armband. No doubts about that whatsoever. And of course, the bench. The reason why I'm okay starting Saka and Maddison this week with the chance of them not playing is I do have a Estupiñán as my first sub. And I am expecting him to actually play this weekend. And I don't mind him at all. Yes, I probably would expect them to concede against Aston Villa. But his attacking potential kind of outweighs that. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did pick up an assist. So that is how the team is looking right now, guys. As I said, the plan the preference is to roll my free transfer going into this weekend and give myself a bit of flexibility for game week 8, because my wildcard strategy just hasn't been confirmed yet because of many different reasons. I just can't really address what I want to do with my team right now and where I want to buy Mo Salah later down the line, because I would love to buy him as a free transfer. So this is the plan. If we get bad news about Saka, I probably will sell him for Son and downgrade Ruben Diaz to Matty Cash. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, so last up, we are looking at the Game Week 7 predicted points. And this is a really good indicator for those that are maybe looking at one game week punts, maybe on your free hit, or just generally looking for the best player to captain this week. So goalkeepers, no surprises, the Luton and Burnley goalkeepers are in amongst it. I wouldn't recommend buying them unless you are part of a free hit strategy. And as I said, Leno continues to be a brilliant goalkeeper option at 5.2 predicted points. Look at the defenders, again, Kabore top of the charts. You simply have to start him if you do own him. And Trippier looking at 5.3 like a really good option this game week, and maybe even a vice captaincy pick if you want to go for him as backup to Haaland, or maybe even a cheeky captaincy. Midfield-wise, I love Bowen as a free hit pick, and even a 2-game week punt if you want to go down that route. I think he offers fantastic value this game week. Could be a really nice downgrade to Saka as well if you want to go down that option. Salah looking great. Almiron and Gordon, looking at nice differentials. I prefer Gordon, but remember he is on 4 yellow cards. And last up, the forwards. Morris leading the way at 8.1 predicted points. Looking like a great 1-week option, but realistically, I don't like buying him in as a free transfer because I think he's an inevitable transfer out later down the line. Haaland's second best for the forwards, and he is going to be my captain. And outside of that, we got Burnley's forward, we got West Ham's forward, and we got Aston Villa's forward and Watkins. Nothing really there screams out amazing value to me. The one that I do like long term, of course, would be Watkins, but he's a bit more expensive and might be a difficult transfer in for your teams. But those are the Game Week 7 predicted points. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And that just leaves us to say thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If it did provide some value, please do consider smashing that like button and, of course, hitting that subscribe button. Let us know your transfer plans in the comments, and we will see you in the next one. Take care. Cheers.